it's time to do your main event of the evening. For the fight card, UFC 313, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Let's get right into it. But remember, this Saturday is the live watch party for this fight card, to be there, and I will catch you in a bit. Let's get right into today's video. For your main event of the evening, you have Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Magomed Ankalaev is 21-1 with 1 no contest. His country is Russia. Stands at 6 foot 3 inches tall. Weighed at 205 pounds in his last win, has a reach of 75 inches and a leg reach of 46 inches. For Alex Pereira, the champion is 12-2. His country is Brazil, stands at 6 foot 4 inches tall. He weighed at 205 pounds. He has a reach of 79 inches and a leg reach of 44 inches. Basing us off of these stats, what are we seeing? Pereira has the longer reach, shorter leg reach, 1 inch taller, not a massive difference, but it's still a factor. And Magomed Ankalaev has a massive record over Pereira. Pereira has 2 losses, while Magomed Ankalaev only has 1. Magomed Ankalaev also has 1 draw and a no contest, while Pereira doesn't have either of them. Pereira has 8 less wins than Magomed Ankalaev, so could this be the first? Not first. Could this be a fight where we see Pereira struggle? Could Magomed Ankalaev do what he needs to do, which is get on the inside and grapple with Pereira? Why does everyone strike with Pereira? He keeps knocking everyone out. The only person to knock him out was Adesanya. So yes, with Pereira, you've got to play. If Magomed Ankalaev wants to strike him, he's got to play a bit possum. He's got to play possum. He's got to go on the back foot, let Pereira catch him a little bit, and Pereira get comfortable. And then he's got to time him as he throws that right hand. He's got to counter him. You've got to counter Pereira. You have to be the counter puncher. You can't strike with him because he will land that hook. He's waiting for you to open up so that he can land the left hook. But Magomed Ankalaev said this week that he is going to grapple with Pereira. And I hope that's true, because not that I want to see Pereira lose, but I believe that I want to see how Pereira's grappling looks, because everyone who fights him just strikes with him, when we know that we don't know what Pereira's grappling, how great it is compared to someone who can grapple. Now, will Magomed Ankalaev get to grapple Pereira? I don't think so. I'm going to be real. But let's move on to win buys, see how they've got it done in their previous fights. With Alex Pereira having an 83% KO, 0% submission, 17% decision with an average fight time sitting at 11 minutes and a knockdown average of 1, while Magomed Ankalaev, on the other hand, had a KO and TKO percentage of 55, a submission percentage of 0, and a 45% decision, while he has an average fight time sitting at 12 minutes and a knockdown average of also 1. When you look at these stats, now you've got to remember, Magomed Ankalaev has 20 wins, Pereira has 12. Pereira, yes, has 8 less wins, but he has 83% KO and 17% decision. Yes, Pereira's got decisions, but a lot of his fights previously are coming via knockout. Magomed Ankalaev, it's not great to see that he can't. He has over half of his wins by knockout, but not a significant amount. I feel like Pereira does appear on the stats to be a lot more scarier than Magomed Ankalaev. And Ankalaev hasn't got a submission win. He's talking about grappling, taking down Pereira, which I believe he can do, but don't know if he gets the stoppage there. I think Pereira might get another win here. But let's move on to the one last bit of win by stats before we move on to anything else. With Pereira having 10 wins via KO and TKO, 2 wins by decision, 0 by submission. He has been knocked out once and he has been submitted once. He has no decision losses. He's only lost once in UFC and apparently he has never lost again, which doesn't make any sense. He's been submitted once. And of course, when we look at this, Jan Blachowicz has had the better of the outcome of all the previous fights for Pereira, because look, he had yes, Izzy knocked him out, but a decision here. Then Yuri got knocked out, Jamal Hill got knocked out, Yuri again got knocked out, Khalil Rountree Jr. then got knocked out, Israel Adesanya knocked out, Strickland knocked out, Bruno Silva did very well there. And then, of course, Andreas Michailidis had a flying knee knockout. The only person who's knocked him out is Adesanya with a counter right hand. So looking at these stats, you're going to go, if Pereira wins, it's going to be either by a decision or a knockout, and most commonly it's a knockout, and I think Pereira does get another knockout here. But let's move on to Ankalaev's stats first. Okay, Ankalaev has 11 wins coming by knockout, 9 wins coming by decision, and 1 loss by submission. So he hasn't lost any other way apart from being submitted, and I don't think Pereira is going to submit him. He beat Alexander Rakic by decision. Johnny Walker, he knocked him out. Johnny Walker has the goofiest knockouts ever. It's like an NPC when you punch him in GTA or something. A no contest against Johnny Walker. I can't say his last name. That's staying in the video now. Anthony Smith got ground and pound. Thiago Santos, decision. Volkov Uzdemir, decision. Ion Kutalaba, He got knockout there. He also knocked him out before then, and then he had like 3 bouts cancelled against him. In the UFC, Magomed Ankalaev has 6 knockouts and 5 decisions. He's only been submitted once in the UFC, which was Paul Craig that submitted him. We actually should check Pereira's stats for UFC. But based off of these stats, Magomed Ankalaev hasn't had the greatest resume in previous fights, but Pereira, on the other hand, has. He's had like, what's it, 4 knockouts in a row and a decision, and then he got beat by Adesanya. He's on a 4-5 win streak, and Magomed Ankalaev is only on a 1 or 2. I can't remember. I've just looked at the stats. I can't remember. But it appears to be going in Pereira's favour, because Pereira, he's got the power, man, and Magomed Ankalaev's got to be very cautious of that. I don't think either guy gets a submission, but Ankalaev, if he wants to win by a decision, I think taking him down is a good bet. Taking Pereira down, because you can get control time as long as you're working, and you can just dominate down there. But let's move on to significant strikes to see how they performed on the feet in their previous fights. With Magomed Ankalaev having an average of 4 punches landed per minute, 52% significant strikes, an average of 2 punches absorbed per minute with a defense of 58%. While Alex Pereira, on the other hand, had an average of 5 punches landed per minute, 63% significant strikes, an average of 3 punches absorbed per minute with a defense of 55%. Pereira had a worse defense, had absorbed a little bit more, but Khalil Roundtree Jr. did very well. I actually really enjoyed that fight. Khalil was doing what he needed to do. He was staying consistent. He was being first. He wasn't letting Pereira land his shots till Khalil started getting tired, and Pereira switched on him and dominated towards the end of the fight. Now, Pereira also has a 63% significant strikes. Most of his punches are power punches. Pereira is trying to kill anyone in there. Pereira also landed more, and Ankalaev didn't land as many. So Pereira can land multiple shots and a high volume if he needs, and I think in this one he's going to need to land high volume. Now, how do I think this fight plays out? We'll get to that in the end, but let's move on to the grappling stats before we go into anything else. With Alex Pereira having 0 takedowns, 100% takedown accuracy, 70% takedown defense with a submission average of 0, while Magomed Ankalaev, on the other hand, had a takedown average of 1, 31% takedown accuracy, 86% takedown defense with a submission average of 0. Pereira had a submission average. Magomed Ankalaev didn't have a submission average. Pereira's takedown accuracy was 100%. He got all of his takedowns, which was, it says 0.14, and that is per 14. That is the per 15 minutes. So over 15 minutes, he attempted his average of 0.14. I suck at maths. Let's just put it that way. Magomed Ankalaev, though, had an average of 1 takedown, 31% takedown accuracy, not great. Pereira does have a high takedown defense. So does Magomed Ankalaev. So I think it's going to be a struggle for both of them to get takedown. And I don't think either of them are going to do anything with the takedown. That's the issue. I don't think either of them are going to go for a submission, get a submission, or do enough on the ground to make it count as a stat. But that's just my thoughts on that. How do I think this fight plays out? I think we get another knockout from Pereira here. I think he takes his time and gains control, fights on the front foot. Magomed backs up. I don't think Magomed's going to counter him. I think Magomed will do fairly well holding his own, but I think Pereira's going to come on strong. He's going to catch him. I think Magomed's going to try and get some takedowns and sadly fail, and I think Pereira gets the knockout. But that's just my thoughts and my opinions. What do you guys think? Who do you think wins, and how do you think to win? Apart from that, I'll catch you in a bit. Take care and peace.